So Willie, how long has FEMA been on island?
Well, for me personally, I got here late on Saturday night. The rest of my team got here yesterday, or Sunday. Most of them landed here in Guam.
And what brings you here?
Well, when the storm first percolated off the east of Guam, we kept watching. Our National Weather Service kept watching the storm, and seeing the intensity grow, seeing the trajectory of the track. It was time to lean forward. We have to make sure, with the time and distance, we have to be prepared to support the territory, and with the CNMI if they need assistance. And knowing the time and distance, we have to be ahead of the storm and try to get people in ahead of the storm to work the storm.
Right now it's about 6 p.m. We're still in Core 1, but when we do return to Core 4, what can we expect from FEMA?
Well, FEMA is here always in support of the state. In support of the territory in this instance, but in support of the government here, and also with the government of CNMI. As Core 4 happens, and we go back to start assessments, and I say we, that starts with the territory, and as the territory looks at the impact of the storm, they come back to us, and we go out and look at it together, and that's what we call our joint damage assessments. We already looked at the territory has already made plans to, as soon as they can, as soon as practical, to start doing that, and the agencies within the territory are already looking to do that. And as they do that, we join with them to do joint assessments to see what's been impacted due to this storm.
Residents, what should they sort of have on them, and what should they?
And we should
if they have damage.
And one of the things I say, blue sky and gray sky. Blue sky, normal times. Normal times, you always and I know definitely the people of the island here are used to going through this turmoil and putting away their valuables and making sure that they have their insurance, making sure they have their valuables and things put away, but making sure they have pictures of what they own, and also any documentation that they may have, contacting their insurance companies, making sure that they have the numbers and the paperwork to do that. A lot of this is all starts local, and following the local officials and making sure we follow the local officials, because FEMA is not always here. It's always going to start local with the territory officials. We're just here to support them when the power goes out.
Oh, I'm glad we're not live. But that's a perfect example of what's happening right now. How many members from your team?
Right now, when I say my team, I have FEMA organic folks that I have FEMA employees. I would say we have about 40 or 50 of those here on the ground right now. But we also bring in some of our federal families from Department of Transportation, from the Corps of Engineers, from the Department of Energy. We bring in some of those to support the local emergency support functions that are here on the island. The territory side, we bring in the federal side as we work together to see what the impacts are and what else do we need to bring in to cover the gaps as we do that. So with those, we could be up towards the 100, 150 or more. I can get my staff to give you correct numbers on that.
We know a lot of people sort of get hurt after a storm, even after a storm passes, sort of in the cleanup of things. Do you have any maybe tips, precautions for people when they start to get out of this and start to return to
The first thing I always say in any state or territory I go to, follow your local officials' guidance. Because they know the community better, they know the ins and outs, but follow that guidance and making sure that you're safe, reporting the right way, going through the local reporting channels. But we will only come along in support of what the state has asked us to do.
Any in a nutshell, people, when can people start seeing you out and about?
Well,
assessing damage?
Well, that will depend on the territory, but from what I have from them, as soon as practical for them, because I think they want to make sure that what are the impacts of this storm, to go out and look at that. But as soon as they, within 24 hours of all clear to get out, I know the territory is going out and look at that, and as soon as they make the call to us, we'll be joining them to do joint assessments.